What's up, everybody? Aaron the Dog here, along with MMA Wagers Brandon Piper, here to break down Bellator 256, the rematch of Bader and Machida to kick off the light heavyweight Grand Prix tournament, which we just were able to discuss with alternate Julius Angelikis at the best we could. Sorry about the internet issues, but it will happen on an internet show. It's all good, though. The information is there if you want to go back and check out the preview. We're going to be breaking down all 13 fights here tonight for the Bellator 256 taking place on Friday night on Showtime again, YouTube for the prelims. So good prelims this time, not like last time. I'll be honest. Last time was insane with the amount of prospects that were littered through there, but there's still some pretty good prospects, some guys young in their careers. So some potential regular names as we move forward, but not quite yet. But how you doing, Brandon?
Good, man. How are you, Aaron?
I'm good.
That was a good interview we had with Julius. I wish the connection was a bit better, but he's a great guy. I'm happy he joined us, and he gave us as much input as he really could.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, internet issues will happen. We'll have him back on at another point when things are more stable, and hopefully he's part of the tournament. But either way, yeah, still very happy to be able to get that breakdown. It's on the channel right now if you want to check that out at any point.
And I have to get your nickname going, the Lithuanian Terminator?
The Lithuanian Terminator. That's what I'm coining him as, LT, as I call him. I couldn't really tell from his reaction if he was happy or not with it, but
how can you not? I would love if you said that to me. I'd be like, I'm all over that nickname. Chael Sonnen just gave Marvin Vittoria a nickname, Angry Marvin. He wants everybody to start calling him Angry Marvin.
Angry Marvin, yeah, angry Marvin, who called out Darren Till for not really being injured apparently. But yeah.
Well, some fighters would fight through that. I'm not gonna hate on Marvin for saying that because I know fighters, I can name some right now that would fight through a collarbone injury. But this is a big time main event.
Huge fight for both guys. So I can understand, and I'll talk about that more tomorrow with Pooh Bear. Breaking that down at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. But we're on Bellator 256. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and jump in here. We start out at the 135 division. Bellator, I'd say regular John Duma at this point. He's been in Bellator a few times, taking on Will Smith. Will Smith 0-1 in Bellator so far. Lost by ground and pound to Lucas Brennan. Lucas Brennan looks like he could be a potential kind of prospect here, 20-year-old Lucas Brennan. So has gone on to get another win since then. So no real shame there out of Will Brooks. Or Will Smith, I should say. John Duma, I'm a little more familiar with, however. He had his fight against Janelle Lugo. It was a close decision loss. Janelle Lugo is a very, very highly rated prospect as well. And I don't think that he looked terrible in that fight. I just think he looked a little outmatched and a little outgunned. And Mike Kimball was a really good performance by him. He got that triangle choke. Kimball tried to slam him out of it. There was just such a level of mastery to the groundwork of Duma compared to Kimball, who Kimball's not a terrible guy on the ground either, but Duma really showed me a lot there. I think Duma's got a lot of skill. I think he should be able to take this one over Will Smith. Will Smith, mostly a decision fighter so far, has a shoulder injury win in his debut, but got kind of handled on the ground by Lucas Brennan. And I think John Duma could have a similar type of game plan, but instead of the ground and pound, I'd be most likely looking for a submission. Although Will Smith has never been submitted, but I just think Duma is going to be the better guy here. 24 years old. He's looking better with each fight. He looked good against Lugo too. Lugo is a better prospect. So I'll take Duma here, and I'll take the submission.
Yeah. So our audience doesn't get mistaken. This is not Will Smith, the actor. This is
No.
an up and comer MMA fighter. This isn't Triller. We don't have a Will Smith boxing match coming up.
Yeah, no. Will Smith,
be
the
pretty cool.
up and coming prospect at 31, by the way.
He's 31. That's good to know because I didn't know his age.
Yep, 31, 5'8". Yeah, he just Dumo's 5'7", so there's a slight reach advantage for Will Smith, but 24 versus 31. Don't know a lot about Will Smith, but yeah.
Yeah, Will Smith made his Bellator debut back in 2020. It didn't work out for him too well. Lucas Brennan pretty much dominated, got that TKO in the second round. He has a win over Aaron Reese, who I am familiar with. He is not the greatest fighter in the world, so I don't hold that victory in much regard. Journal Lugo, one judge did have it 30-26, so he did, like, from the judge's eyes, he did get almost dominated, you could say, but it's a learning lesson. Journal Lugo will be talking about later on the card, actually. And yeah, I really don't like targeting these low level Bellator fights,
Especially at these odds.
Yeah, what are the odds looking like?
Minus 550 for Duma, just simply by the name recognition of beating Mike Kimball.
Yeah,
I think that really,
Mike Kimball's not that great either.
And Mike Kimball's really shown he's not great. When he beat Mike Kimball, he was at a more momentous, but Mike Kimball has kind of shown what level of fighter he is at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I know John Duma is with a good management company. Let me see here.
Is that Iridium? I'm not positive, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah, Iridium.
Yep.
But I know that doesn't say much, but this is an opponent he should be able to get the nod over. I don't love the odds at all, and we have 13 fights, right? So we can really
13 fights minus 550 for a low level guy. Yeah, I think this is one you let go, but I think coming off of the Lugo fight, I think that the management probably was being pretty cautious as to who they matched him up with, taking Will Smith here. So
yeah,
I'll take
official prediction is John Duma.
Yeah,
if you want to put like a full card parlay in, throw John Duma in there. You never know.
Minus 550. There's nothing else there. Inside the distance will be juiced as well.
Yeah.
So there's, unless you're taking a shot at a decision prop on Duma, then and you're gambling there. But otherwise, I just think there's not anything there.
Yeah.
So
good fight to just sit back, relax, throw John Duma in a full card parlay with your most confident and see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, the first two fights are good ones to sit back and relax on, because the next one we got Tara Gaff at 125 flyweight. Tara Gaff, who just took on Valerie Lareda and got knocked out by Valerie Lareda and got wrestled by her. Getting number 9 Valerie Lareda, taking on Diana Avasagova. Yep. I only know her because her Instagram always gets suggested on my page. She's very attractive, young fighter, Russian. Looks like she's got good grappling. That definitely is where she seems to want to take the fight. Seems to be her expertise. She has an armbar finish, and then her decision win, but both over 0-0 girls. And Tara Gaff at least has been in there with a few decent opponents. Valerie Lareda is okay. And she has some amateur experience, although most of her amateur experience is losing. So it's like, I'm going to take the Diana. I'll take her just because I think that this fight is being set up for another pretty young fighter to beat Tara Gaff. That seems to be her role in Bellator, is to come in and lose to attractive fighters. So I'll say that Diana gets the finish. Tara has been finished by armbar before. I think she gets finished by armbar again here. So I'll say submission. There's nothing to do, though, with the odds. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, looking through the research, it does dictate that Diana should submit Tara Gaff here. Tara Gaff is a finisher for sure. Like, she has never went the distance. She's never got a submission win. she's got knockouts. That's it. 5 knockouts as a professional, 2 as an amateur. She's going to go in there and swing. And if Deanna's smart, which I believe she knows what Tara is going to be targeting in this fight, that she should stick to her grappling and try to get the submission here. I don't like how Deanna only has 2 fights altogether. Like, I haven't found anything else. Maybe she has a background in like amateur
looks like she has a grappling experience of some sort, I would say. Because there are a few YouTube videos of like grappling competitions, but
like
I'm not
ADCC,
sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure specifically what level, but she's facing Tara Graf. This is simple, but the odds are going to just dictate that we don't even look at this fight because it's minus 1,400 for Diana Azapagova. I mean, that's
ridiculous. Yeah.
Like I'll put, if I'm betting, which I won't, just because this fight is that low level, it would be on Tara. There's no world where I can bet a minus 1,400 Diana with two fights against 2 0-0 fighters. Hasn't fought since May of 2019. So I mean, she looks good. She's pretty. I think Bellator wants her to win for sure. So those are good things to go with, but minus 1,400.
Yeah. If you're going to fade her now because the odds are crazy.
Like, the odds can't get
we don't know what to expect here. It's an unknown product.
Yep. So that kind of covers that one. I think
if they do come out with prop bets, I'll take Deanna by submission. We'll see what that's looking like. But still, it's probably going to be minus 200.
I mean, minus 1,400. How much could it really cut off on a woman who has an armbar finish against a woman who's been finished by armbar? Like,
yeah, I agree with your first statement. These first 2 fights, just sit back, relax. Maybe throw Deanna in a parlay with your 13 fight card and throw like a $5 on Tara. Who knows? Tara could knock her. I mean, you never know.
She definitely can knock her. She's finished girls before and as late as the 3rd round. So I mean, that regardless of the level, that shows some skill. Now the card really starts. I really like how this fight is looking at 155 though. Nanoa Duong. Who young Hawaiian 20-year-old fighter, 3-2 already as an MMA fighter, but he's been fighting. I mean, he's gone right into the deep end, taking on Izzy William. Isaiah William is what he's known as on. If you look him up on YouTube, this guy's really exciting as well. 33-year-old. Had been in there with a lot of decent guys, including Jordan Levitt in his last fight. Back in February of 2020, and he wasn't finished by Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt really had to just kind of control him with his grappling for a lot of it because when Izzy has strength, he's fighting on a strong style, which we are familiar with strong style, obviously.
Stipe Miocic.
Stipe's camp. Matt Brown's over there. Cody Garbrandt's over there. It's kind of quietly became an up and coming good camp. And Izzy fights a lot like Cody Garbrandt to me. It's a lot of pressure on his opponent, swings hard all the time. Throws, active, 33, but I think he's in his prime right now. Shows a lot of good promise, shows good leg kicks, and that's, I think, one of my biggest keys here against Dong. Dong showed in his last fight, those leg kicks tore him apart against Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell, a 1-1 guy, not too physically imposing, really someone who Dong should have been able to kind of run through. And once Dong's kick started getting checked and he started throwing them back, Dong could not take it. So it's 2 straight losses for Dong. He lost to Zach Zane by decision. No real shame in that. Before that, he had looked pretty well-rounded, and he definitely, I think, is a future guy in the lightweight division. 6'1", really good size, 22 years old, definitely going to be getting better with each fight. Isaiah Williams, 5'8". That's one of the big problems here for me. Also, Isaiah, not really too well-rounded. He goes in there, he tries to hit you, tries to put you away. If he can't, he can be controlled. So I was tempted to go with my first dog here in Isaiah. I'm going to hold off on it. I'm going to go with Dong to get a decision. I think he's just going to mix it up overall, be able to control him with the grappling. Stand-up wise, though, I think Izzy has a huge advantage. And if this stays standing up, I think Izzy can get a finish or win a decision. So that's where Dong has to use his full MMA game. He's shown he's been able to use it before. But I do question how he handles the leg kicks and adversity a little bit. So I'm going to take Dong, but I'm hesitant.
Yeah, Nano Dung.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a tough outing his last fight with Charlie Campbell. I believe Charlie Campbell he trains with Chris Weidman, maybe.
I don't know for sure. I'll check that.
I do have it right here. I think it is. I should have just checked.
No, so he's out Longo. Yeah, he's out Longo Weidman. You're right.
Yeah, he's actually better than most people think. He's still an unfamiliar name in the MMA sphere.
He just had a decision win over in CFFC, the Huck Body Jeffrey card.
He just beat Colin Huck Body?
No, he beat Cedric Gunnarsson.
Okay.
On the Huck Body card, though, I'm saying.
Oh yeah. So he's showing that he's a good competitor. So yeah, Nano Dung has just run into some tough competitors, unknown competitors.
Yeah.
His opponent Izzy William is very unknown on the scene as well. Like he's got the experience, but like nobody really knows him yet. He's 9-3 as an amateur. He's got maybe 5 or 6 professional fights.
Yep.
Coming off a loss to Jordan Levitt, he should learn from that fight with Jordan Levitt. And Izzy's making his Bellator debut here. Dung has been in there twice or 3 times with Bellator.
Yep.
It's his time. It's now or never. Like he's gotta impress here. I know he's still young. He's got a long career ahead of him. Dung, he's only 22, but if he wants to stick around with Bellator and make a name for himself, it's now or never. And Izzy William is in the same boat. Nobody really knows him, so he wants to make a name for himself as well. So it's one of those fights where experience might pay off with Izzy William.
Yeah, but I mean, again, Dung has 4 fights in Bellator.
Yeah, so, and that's more high level.
I faced the better guys of the two. And yeah, it's a really, I think this has got potential to be one of the better fights of the night, honestly. And Dung, I do think that there's decent value here, -160.
Okay.
You know, I like Dung is 6'1" again. He's 3-2, so that's going to scare some people. But it's, again, look at who he's facing, where he's facing these guys at the age he's facing them. This is why people don't do it this way.
I was gonna guess he was gonna be a -300 favorite, to be honest, with how Bellator puts out their odds.
Yeah. Sorry, dogs are just going a little crazy here.
All good.
You know, they I guess are on Izzy's side.
They're taking the dog too.
Yeah, they're trying to get me to stop, but I got a couple other maybe crazy dogs later on the card. This isn't one of them. I'm gonna go with the favorite Dung, -160. I like early prelim parlays with him. I like sticking him in a couple just because I just think he's shown he's well rounded. And
both have been active. They both have been active lately. But if Dung loses this one, then you can never trust him again. This is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think he knows that too. So good 155 matchup here. Looking forward to seeing the weigh-ins for sure on that one because I think Dung is going to have trouble as he matures in his career as well at making 155. I just think like you can kind of see his body continuing to evolve and event. So yeah, it's a huge fight for him. Huge fight for both guys. Very different parts of their career. I think it's a good one. But we both got Dung. Going on to 135 here. I think this is another really good fight. Jalen Bates 1-0 made his debut in Bellator and won a decision. Somewhere a little bit disappointed. He came in with some pretty big hype, to be honest with you. Taking on Jeffrey Glossner. Jeffrey Glossner, hard to find tape on him. He's got a 10-second KO that he's coming off of in November of 2019, and he has not fought since then. Event got canceled due to Corona, and then he had a canceled bout CFFC 89. Not sure exactly what happened there. But yeah, 2 KOs for him. He has a second round KO, and then he has a decision loss to Anthony Jimenez Anthony Jimenez has gone on to look honestly pretty good so far. He's now 5-1 with a no contest in his last fight over at Icon, which I was able to see. He did win that fight, and I believe failed a drug test afterwards. So, but that was at a catchweight of 148. This is at 135. So I just think that is kind of interesting. Jalen Bates, on the other hand, won over Joe Supino in his Bellator debut. It went to a decision. Some people were kind of disappointed with it. Every day we're grinding on here. But Jalen Bates, he's 8-0 as a amateur as well. Shown well-rounded skills, has some submissions, has some KOs on his record, able to go to decision as well. Faced some 5-0 guys, 6-0 guys, 6-3 as amateurs. So seems to have a good run at things. Jalen Bates also fighting out of American Top Team Portland. Not as familiar with the American Top Team Portland. I know Chael Sonnen's out there, Ed Herman. I think Ricky Simone. So definitely a grappling heavy American Top Team, which I don't think is bad. Austin Springer's out there as well. So Brett Primus, love the guys he's getting to train with. Jalen Bates looks to be the role, looks mature, 24 years old, good reach at 5'9", but a 73.5-inch reach. I think that plays a huge factor here. Just overall, the grappling. Glossner, it's hard to say. I haven't been able to see a lot of his tape. Hardly ever it's available. So Glossner seems to be a punch, KO, or bust here against Jalen Bates, who's just a better overall MMA guy. So I'm going to go with Jalen Bates. I think he's should be able to handle Glossner at this stage in his career. But again, haven't been able to find a lot on Glossner.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jalen Bates really should get this done. Jalen Bates has showed a lot more experience. Well, not showed, but he has that experience level between the two. They're both 24, but Jalen's 9-0 as an amateur. He just made his professional debut with Bellator. Jeffrey 2-1 as a professional, 1-0 as an amateur. So he only has 4 fights altogether that I can see. Who knows, behind the scenes, he might have had more fights. But seeing 9-0 as an amateur and Bellator scooped this guy up right away. I think they knew this guy was a shining prospect, and they wanted him before anybody else. And that first fight, I know it went to a decision, but one judge scored that 30-25. Like, what else do you want? Like the opponent was,
they didn't finish because of how much he dominated. But again, early on, you want the cage time anyways.
Some opponents are stubborn. We've seen Tony Ferguson have an arm bar that almost snapped his friggin' arm off against Charles Oliveira, and he never tapped. Some opponents are just going to be stubborn, and they're not going to stop. And that he might have run into Joe Supino, who might just have like a warrior mentality, and he just wouldn't give up. Here, we have Jeffrey Glossner, who we have no idea. Well, like we don't have much information about. Yeah, he's 2-1, 1-1 in LFA. He honestly has probably faced a better competition, I'm gonna say, but I think I'm gonna take the rising prospect here. Jeffrey Glossner might be my most confident pick on the card so far.
You mean Jalen Bates
or Jalen? Yeah, sorry, Jalen Bates. Yeah.
No,
Jeffrey Glossner.
Another thing, Glossner hasn't fought since November 2019. He weighed into that bantamweight bout at 139.
So not professional at all.
Yeah. So, but they're both 24. I mean, but Bates hasn't shown anything amateur-wise that lets me think that a hard hitter is gonna screw him up here. We're moving on to 145 division.
What are the odds for that one?
Oh, minus 600 for Bates.
Oh, wow. Okay. But that is my most confident pick. Like, if I'm going to parlay somebody, it'd be Bates.
Yeah. I mean, Bates and Dung, you can get even money putting those two together. So I actually like that quite a bit to be able to bet those two and get even money. But besides that, I think that there's not a lot you can do here. I just said how it was a KO or a bust for a grappling prospect in Bates. Rinse and repeat here at 145. Cody Law versus Nathan Gaharib. Cody Law is the real deal, man. I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I've been following him through American Top Team for quite a while. His amateur career, he looked really good in. Since he's been pro, Darce choke, ground and pound. He's wrestling well. He's got good ground and pound, looks the part. Yeah, I mean, Cody Law, I just think is one of these for real, legit prospects. 2-0 in Bellator. Bellator knew what they were doing signing him. I got to see, I like what I've seen out of him. He's a really good wrestler, really strong here. And Nathan Gaharib, I mean, he's been submitted a couple times. He's been controlled as an amateur. He has 2 knockouts in under about a minute or so each. So, I mean, yeah, you can win that way. But if he doesn't do that, he's not winning this fight. Mm-hmm. Cody Law all day. My most confident pick on the prelims.
Yeah, I totally agree with this one too. Like, Cody Law has been my boy lately. Like, I know his money odds are high, but he finishes off parlays for me. So I'm going to give him credit, and he makes it look easy. You never have a sweat with him. Yeah. He also trains with somebody who we'll be speaking about on this card later, Dalton Rosta. So those two have been grinding. Iron sharpens iron, you know that. Cody Law 2-0 in Bellator. His opponent is making his Bellator debut. I think Bellator knows what they're doing here. They're matching him up with a beatable opponent. But they love how an underdog could shine. Like, you never know. Nathan could take all that momentum away from Cody Law, but I just don't see it happening here. Cody Law is a very decorated wrestler. He's a submission artist. He's got 2 Darce chokes in his career already. Like, he's the real deal. I agree with you. He's 112 and 26 high school wrestling record, over 100 victories as a wrestler in high school. As I can see, he's 8-1 in NCAA D2 wrestling, and that's like the peak of wrestling. So yeah, I'm all over Cody Law. Dominant decision or even a Darce choke. Let's get another one going.
Yeah, I mean, this is a -600 that I feel better about than Bates even. But you can put Bates, you can put Law and Dung. Go ahead and do that, and I think those are decent odds on 3 guys. That
Dung, I don't know about Dung. I just don't. I'm not sold on him yet. I don't want to be the fool that picks him and he looks. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not completely convinced on Dung yet.
Yeah, and then just like a little bit about Nathan. He trains out of the same gym as Justin Sumter, Nick Newell, Fighting Arts Academy over in Massachusetts. So, decent guys to roll with here. But, yeah, I'm just not seeing a lot that convinces me this is the guy that's going to knock out Cody Law. So, yeah, we're going to move on now. Really good fight at 135 here. I love this fight. Jarrell. I believe it's Jernell. I don't know if I'm saying that first name correctly. Maybe it's not said that way. But
I would say Jernell Lugo.
Jernell Lugo, 5-0, 135 prospect, taking on Cass Bell, who looks like he's a prospect, but he's like 33 years old, 5-1. But really a fun guy to watch. Jernell Lugo, A1 is his nickname, 5-0. The dude is really, really good. I'll give him that much. He doesn't always get the finish, but I don't need that out of my fighters to think they're going to be great necessarily. He, for the most part, controls the fights where they go. He's very well-rounded. Taking on a guy in Cass Bell who just fights a lot better than he should, in my opinions. I think he kind of got some favorable matchups against like 1-0 guys who weren't really proven. So he got an impressive guillotine. And then, he took on a 5-3 guy, got a decision. Then they shot him up to Rafael Stotts, 13-1 stud. I mean, he made it to a 3rd round. So that's definitely, impressive. But I mean, just overall, Cass Bell, like, he's not the most technical guy, but he can surprise you with his strikes. He can surprise you with kind of his scrappy grappling. I just think Jernell, A1, better everywhere, better technician, should be able to kind of cruise in this fight. 5'9" versus 5'10", so the height isn't exactly going to be on Cass Bell's side like it is for a lot of his fights in this division either. I just think Jernell Lugo is a better fighter unless he gets caught with something, which he hasn't ever. I don't see Cass being able to manufacture a decision or sub him.
Yeah, we were speaking about Journal Lugo earlier with John Duma. Lugo got a pretty dominant decision over John Duma, and he's a rising prospect as well. Like the guy's 5-0, 5-0 as a professional, 5-1 as an amateur. He lost by that one decision as an amateur. 2-0 in Bellator. Kaz Bell, 5-1 in Bellator. His entire career has been in Bellator. And shout out to Kaz Bell. He's an awesome dude, man. Like I think he gambles on fights too. So if we ever need a guest,
32 years old, getting started this late, and be able to do this with I mean, it's very impressive. And just real quick to get to this, Jay, we'll talk UFC tomorrow if you want to come back tomorrow night and talk with us. But bang a lot on Vettori. He said he posted reasons over on Go Eat for Donuts. So,
I've already got Vettori on multiple parlays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm agreeing with you, J Squad. Let's go.
But yeah, go ahead and back to your thoughts.
Yeah, I love Kaz Bell, man. Like his personality, his fighting style. He's got the green hair. He's got the look. It's just he might have came in too late in his career here. He's a dangerous fighter still. Like you can't count him out. He lost to Rafion Stouts, who I really hold in high regard as a fighter. Rafion Stouts is the real deal. So he's looking to rebound off that submission loss. You got to take the momentum here. Journal Lugo by decision, or Kaz Bell might catch him. Like I'm not completely confident in this fight either.
Yeah, so Lugo is a -300 favorite. I was expecting
that's not worth. I don't know if it's worth it. It might be.
It's hard with Bellator because you have to judge these inflated odds often. Honestly, a -300 in Bellator feels to me, I know it's not, but it feels to me like a -170, -190 in UFC. I take off about 100 points. So it's like,
that's what I was expecting his odds would be, -170.
That's more what I was expecting. I think Kaz Bell coming off of the loss, even if it's the stats and his age and everything. Yeah, the age and everything. I like Lugo, though. And 5-0, 8-1, I believe, as an amateur as well. Good size. I think this is Lugo's fight to lose. And there's still a little bit of value in Kaz Bell's name to get a win here. So I like it quite a bit. A good opportunity for A1 here. And I probably do feel better about his -300 than the -160 of Dong. So
yeah.
There is that.
I'll take. It's just so tough, man. I want to take Kaz Bell in a way, but has he really proved anything in his career? Like
he's not really
he's faced have not been the greatest.
Yeah,
like nobody notable.
Right. So really, he's overachieved against other guys who probably shouldn't be in Bellator. And
Lugo.
If he comes in,
Lugo will make it a stepping stone. Sorry, I just think Lugo. This will be a stepping stone for Lugo.
Yeah, totally fair. But I think one of the better fights on the prelims and overall on the card. So I hope it's a really competitive fight just for both guys. I like both guys. I just don't want to see Kaz Bell get blown out of the water here.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think we're going to see that, actually. So
no, it's going to be competitive either way.
I think it will be competitive. This next fight, 145 women's fight between Talita Nogueira, 7-2, and Jessica Borga, who's 3-2. Jessica Borga has fought in Bellator before. She got an armbar finish. She did miss weight for that fight, I believe, but maybe she didn't. I know she's had weight issues in the past in one of her fights, but I believe that was at 135 actually against Lucy Bertaud. She had those weight issues, so she did move up last fight against Amber Lebrock, and she did weigh in at under the 145 limit. So seems at 145 she's more comfortable. She got an armbar finish. She's lost to Shayna Young, where she got KO'd in the third round, and she got KO'd in the second round by some 2-4 fighter named Sarah Payant. So it seems that She has grappling, and her striking is a little bit lacking. Talita, more been in a lot of grappling bouts lately. Her last MMA fight was back in 2017 against Amanda Bell. She got a rear naked choke, has an armbar finish. I don't really have much thoughts on this fight, to be honest. I would take Toledo, but it's my least confident pick of the night.
Yeah, this is a tough fight to break down. Like, I don't have much information either. Jessica Borga, undefeated in Bellator, actually 1-0. She did win her debut against Amber Leibrock. Got that submission round one armbar. Talita, 35. She's getting up there in age. I know she's a jiu-jitsu fighter, but her grappling record, from what I can see, is 3-6. So I don't know if there's behind the scenes action that's going on that's not being recorded. But yeah, even as a grappler, she's losing these fights. She's 1-2 in Bellator. Like, I'm not gonna hate on her too much for losing to Julia Budd. She was the former champion, and I still think she's one of the best featherweight woman fighters on the planet right now. Even though I'm Canadian, I'm not being biased. She is one of the best.
Yeah, Jessie Millay is not bad either.
Yeah, that split decision to Jessie Millay. Yeah, that makes me very hesitant to put any money on Talita, because if you're going to lose a split to Jessie, who showed up very unprofessional her last fight versus Julia Budd, she came in overweight. She looked very lackluster. Maybe she was just going through a tough period in her life. I don't know what happened, but she didn't show much in that fight, and losing a split decision to her makes me not want to bet Talita at all.
Yeah, I think that's honestly fair. Looking at the odds, I think that it's a dog or pass. What's your official pick?
I'm gonna wait till the weigh-ins tomorrow, but I might take the younger Jessica Borge here to keep her Bellator streak going, maybe by knockout or submission. Probably by maybe a knockout or a sketchy split decision.
All right, so Talita wasn't finished by Julia Budd, but Jessica Borga is gonna knock her out. That's it's a take. Jessica Borga plus 200 underdog. I do think that low-level women's MMA, when you get over the plus 200, that's when you go with the dog. And this is
Julia Budd knocked her out.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, it was in the third round, ground and pound. She ground and pounded her.
I forgot about that fight. I was thinking. Yeah. I guess I was thinking of the Jessie Millay fight.
Okay.
So, Borga's a plus 200, low-level women's MMA. The price is right. Take a shot on the dog or pass.
We cashed on the dog last week in Bellator.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yana Watanabe. Yana Watanabe.
She looked great too.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, that gets us to the featured prelim of the night. And this is Dalton Rosta, who we talked about a little earlier, 4-0 prospect, taking on Tony Johnson. This is at middleweight. Tony Johnson, we know from the Contender Series. So he's super inactive. That's the first thing. He hasn't fought since October of 2019. Before that, he fought once a year for 2018, 2017, and then he hadn't fought since 2013. His only losses are to Eric Lawson, who's a decent guy from back in the day, decent wrestler, grappler, submission guy. And then he lost to Clifford Starks, who's another good wrestler. So good wrestlers with heavy grappling, heavy ground and pound, heavy top control, give him trouble. Alton Cunningham, he was able to solve that against in the Contender Series, though, and he looked good there. Then he was able to knock out Joe Schilling. This will be a very different fight with Dalton Rosta. Dalton Rosta fights a lot like the guys who have beat Tony Johnson in his career. Dalton Rosta 4-0, really on the up and up here. Tony Johnson fighting out of AKA, so there definitely is that. Dalton Rosta going to be his fifth fight in Bellator. All four of his fights before this were in Bellator. beat Ty Guetter in his last fight. Ty Guetter, pretty decent prospect himself, and just kind of, took control of the stand-up, was able to grapple him. And so I think Dalton should be able to exploit Tony's weakness, which is grappling and wrestling, and kind of ride it out to a decision. I'll take Dalton.
Yeah, buddy. We were talking about Dalton earlier with Cody Law. They've been training together. They've been training together since since I've known them, since I've been introduced to them. So I've been riding with them both. I hold them in very high regard as fighters and competitors, and all they want to do is get that W. They come out of a good camp, actually. The Matt the Matt Factory Wrestling
Matt
Club.
Factory Wrestling Club. Yep.
It's underrated, man. And Tony Johnson, it turns 38 next month. He's I don't know. He did play spoiler in Contender Series. He was a plus 400 underdog. So anybody who got that, congratulations. That was some nice money. But I think I see what Bellator is doing here. It's another beatable opponent for Tony Johnson to keep his undefeated record alive.
For Dalton Rosta, you mean?
What did I say?
You said Tony Johnson.
Oh, sorry, Dalton Rosta. Yeah, I totally got Dalton Rosta here. Tony Johnson, he came into he's been fighting since 2007, 14 years. It's just one fight a year, maybe injuries. I don't know what happened, but I'm on the Dalton Rosta train. I'm going to be riding it until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, it's you're paying for it this fight. Minus 550, unfortunately. Which sucks against a guy who has some good experience against guys who are better than Dalton Rosta here. And he's played spoiler several times here. He's fighting on AKA. This is just one that I can't touch at minus 600.
Dalton Rosta has fought twice under the pandemic era, though. And Tony Johnson hasn't fought since the end of 2019 against Joe Schilling. So Dalton Rosta definitely has that recency bias, but he also has that recency experience too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough price, but again, putting him with Cody Law and Janelle, Lugo, or put him with Cody Law and a few other options here. But yeah, it's tough on these prelims. They're pretty juiced.
Yeah, man. I do agree with it though. I'm taking Dalton Rosta.
Yeah, I agree. And that brings us to the end of the prelims. Just a heads up, I might have to step away to drop off a dog real quick to their owner who's getting here, but you can take it from there. I'll keep you posted. So we're getting to the main card now. We've got a fight that I think was kind of added last second. Dan Moret versus Gochi Yamaguchi. They just decided to kind of add this one. They're trying to. So I haven't done a ton of tape research on this, but I'm very well aware of both fighters. Dan Moret, I kind of look at him and just think, he's a grinder. He's okay, but honestly, his stand-up is all right. His ground game is definitely where he makes his money. He's got some good choke wins for sure. UFC career did not go well. He has a loss to Alex White in there. That's definitely concerning. And taking on a guy in Gochi Yamaguchi, who he's been one of the best guys in Bellator, honestly. His losses are to Michael Chandler, Bubba Jenkins, Will Martinez Jr. Will Martinez Jr., kind of the least known of those guys and still a pretty decent guy in himself until he ended up retiring now. But, 13-3 when he retired, so no real shame there. And then Bubba Jenkins, good wrestler. Michael Chandler, good wrestler. And that's how Gochi gets beat, is by a really good wrestler. I just don't think Dan Moret has the wrestling game here to be able to control Gochi. I think it's going to be a pretty close fight at times, but I just think Gochi's better everywhere. So Gochi, I think, should cruise in this one. I would say decision, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Gochi is the Bellator vet, 11-3 in Bellator. This is his 14th Bellator fight, or 15th Bellator fight. Dan Moret. I don't know if this is, this must have been a short notice fight because a week out, I was researching these fights and I never saw it. So it must have been a last second decision. But yeah, I like the matchup. Dan Moret had an unsuccessful UFC career. He went 0-3 in the promotion, but like his debut was against Gilbert Burns. Like that I don't give him much hate on that. Like
yeah.
And Alex White, he lost to, who's also a UFC vet. Jared Gordon holds like UFC records, so he had a rough run in the UFC. He's looking to make a name for himself in Bellator. I just think this is a very tall task. Goto Yamamuchi is a submission artist, 20 submissions in his career.
Yep.
13 rear naked chokes, 5 arm bars, and 1 triangle. But one note is Dan Moret has never been submitted in his career. So, oh no, he has. Sorry.
Yes.
He's lost by 3 submissions as an amateur, all by rear naked choke.
But Dan Moret Fight Ready, another one of these camps that doesn't get brought up enough. But Johnny Case is over there.
Scott Holtzman, who's fighting this Saturday.
Scott Holtzman, Leandro Hugo, Henry Corrales, who has a fight he's preparing for right now. Chan Sung Jung has a fight he's preparing for right now.
Wow.
Bobby Wolfman Moffitt.
Tyler
it's a good
Phillips.
Camp. It's a really good camp. So with a lot of good
O'Malley.
With a lot of good grapplers. So yeah. I do have a pickup here, of course, now. So I'm going to tee you up for the next fight here, and then
we both have Yamaguchi here, eh?
We both have Yamaguchi. No odds are available currently, but I think Yamaguchi is going to be juiced, to be honest, when it comes out, because he will be a pretty big favorite. I'm teeing you up with a terrible one here, but I apologize. 145, Kat Zingano, Olivia Parker. Maybe Chico will stay here and listen to you, but I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay, buddy. All right, so we got Kat Zingano. Oh. Yeah, Kat Zingano versus Olivia Parker. Olivia Parker made her appearance in Invicta, her last fight. Let me just get the stats going here. Olivia Parker is coming in 39. Kat Zingano has had her prime in her career already. She's coming in at 37, but 37 as a female, we've seen a lot of 37-year-olds still prevail. Kat Zingano is 38, so still only 38. She's got a wealth of experience over Olivia Parker. This is my most confident pick on the card. Kat Zingano all day, decision, submission, ground and pound. It doesn't matter. You pick one, she's gonna get it done. So I just parlayed her straight with a lot of other confident picks I have this weekend, because it's a pretty stacked week of MMA, to be honest. We have one championship tonight with Eddie Alvarez returning. Eddie Alvarez, the baddest man on the planet. He got that title after beating Justin Gaethje. And we got the GOAT. The GOAT is returning this evening. Demetrius Johnson, the flyweight GOAT. He can add to his legacy. If he can win tonight, he'll add another belt to his already outstanding record. He can win the one championship belt tonight. But Kat Zingano, Olivia Parker. Olivia Parker's making her Bellator debut. She actually fought in light heavyweight. She was a big woman. She fought at 205 pounds for a woman in an amateur fight. So that's a FF right there. That's a bit of a fun fact. I don't see any avenues for Olivia Parker prevailing here. I got Kat Zingano all day, and I've already parlayed her with a lot of other options throughout the week. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same deal here for me, but at the same point, I don't know what Kat Zingano, will walk in there. She, even against Gabrielle Holloway had some moments in that fight. She really did. And Gabrielle Holloway is really bad. So it's just like Liv Parker, they're the same age. Liv Parker is, craft out a decision here. I think easily. I don't know who like I would pick here, but betting wise, Liv Parker's a plus 550 underdog, and so I'm gonna take a shot.
Did you see the Olivia Parker debut in Invicta FC?
So wasn't able to watch that, but was able to watch her against Jamie Driver, which I actually liked quite a bit what I saw in that fight. But that's Jamie Driver also, so who knows how, Jamie Driver's not very good. The Chelsea Chandler fight, I mean, it lasted a minute, and it's just like, I mean,
she got bulldozed. She got annihilated.
Yeah, and so I mean, I just don't know if Kat Zingano can still do that.
Well, Kat Zingano has a wealth of experience. I know the Gabriel Holloway fight was a bit of a scare, but Gabriel's really like you can't say. I know she's bad, but she's still a decent opponent. She's like 10. She has over 10 or 11 professional fights. She's gonna be a tough outing for anybody. Olivia Parker, I did research on her because I did bets with the Invicta FC card that whenever that happened, and I don't see Olivia Parker as a big threat here. She used to fight at 205 pounds. She lost an extreme amount of weight to be able to fight at 145. I don't know if she went through surgery to get that weight down, but
so
you can tell when she weighs in, she has a lot of loose skin.
Yeah.
I just Kat Zingano's going to take her down and do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I'm just going to pass on this one, honestly.
Yeah.
It's minus 800 to minus 1,000 for Kat Zingano.
I've got parlays already riding with Kat, but
yeah, plus 550 to plus 600 for Olivia. I'm just going to straight up pass. I'm not going to bet Olivia. I'm not this is just not one fight I'm looking forward.
In my opinion, Kat's a great parlay piece, but
it's minus 800.
Yeah, but
what does that do to any parlay except for if you're
parlay? I got Magomed at minus 900 last week, and that worked out really well.
I think that this is going to be more of a sweat than Magomed, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I just don't want to lose money on Kat Zingano in 2021. So next fight,
confident pick on the card, but it is what it is.
Next fight we're gonna cover that. That's fine. I respect that. It's just I'm just not confident.
I got a good read. I just feel like I have a good read on this one.
And of course, my other dog is here to be picked up. So we're getting to the 145 division. You'll have plenty to say about this, and then I'll give you my take as well. But afterward, with Jeremy Kennedy versus Adam Borix at 145. I love this fight. This is one of the best fights of the night. Take it away, and I will be right back.
Okay. Yeah, we got Jeremy Kennedy, the Canadian, coming back for his second Bellator fight. He is fighting Adam Borix, who is 7-1 in Bellator, making his 9th Bellator appearance. It's crazy. I didn't realize Adam Borix has had that much Bellator fights. Like that's an extreme number, 8 under the promotion. But Jeremy Kennedy is he's fought in UFC, he's fought in Bellator now, he's fought in PFL. He's been around the block. Like, if you don't know who Jeremy Kennedy is at this point, you're not a true MMA fan, in my opinion. He lost to Alexander Volkanovski, but who doesn't lose to Alexander Volkanovski? Adam Borix had a sketchy decision versus Mike Hamill, who we saw recently fight Usman Nurmagomedov. It was a back and forth fight. I agree with the judges' scorecards. Obviously, Usman pretty much dominated that fight, but still, Mike Hamill is no easy out. Adam did what he had to do. Adam Borix got it done. So yeah, we got a European versus a Canadian here. It's a tough fight to call, to be honest. Like, Adam Borix coming from a great team, Sanford MMA, Henry Hooft. You can never count those Sanford MMA athletes out. They just keep winning week after week. And Jeremy Kennedy really jumps gym from gym. But I think his main stable is Extreme Couture these days. So Eric Nixick, great competitors there as well, including what's his name, Dan Ige. Obviously Francis Ngannou. I doubt he's getting rounds in with Francis Ngannou. But yeah, Jeremy Kennedy seems to have found a home with Extreme Couture. 50% finishing rate for Jeremy Kennedy. So he goes in there. 50% of the time he's going to go to the cards and get it done. All 8 decision wins are by unanimous. So you're not going in there with a sweat. If you think he's going to get that decision win, it's most likely going to be unanimous. Adam, 63% finishing rate. He's also got 5 decisions, 3 unanimous, 2 splits. So it's harder to trust Adam at this point. Adam's 27, Jeremy's 28, I believe. They're both around the same age, 5'11". Yeah, like the tail of the tape, as Mike Goldberg would say, is virtually identical. So, it's hard to say. Who's been more active? Jeremy fought in 2020, 2019, 2019, 2019. 3 fights in 2019, 1 in 2020. Adam has fought. Yeah, Adam has been very active. Fought 3 times in 2020. So he's not going to have any ring rust here. It's a very competitive bout, and I really don't know where to lean. I've just been telling them how close this fight is.
It's 2 5'11" guys, 28 years old, and Jeremy Kennedy, 27 years old, and Adam Borix. They've both fought pretty similar levels of competition. The Mike Hamill split decision was I don't think that was a split in all honesty. I just think it was
could have been unanimous.
I think it was a case of Borix fighting a guy who he was supposed to blow out of the water closer. So judges kind of, but the Eric Sanchez win afterwards, he looked really good in that one. Good leg kicks. I mean, the Darian Caldwell fight, that was just another fight where he just got blitzed before I think he could even get started. Other than that, we haven't seen a performance like that out of him. Pat Curran win is a huge win for me. Aaron Pico win means a lot to me, for sure. We've got a Nikolova win, who I'm not as familiar with him, Theodore Nikolova, but he's 11-1, and it was another flying knee finish. I just think Adam Borix is a little more explosive and exciting, while Jamie Kennedy can take this fight into the grappling a little more and make it a little more of a boring fight. If it's exciting, it's Borix. If it's boring, I think it's Kennedy. To kind of make it a layman's breakdown. I'm leaning towards Borix currently, just ever so slightly. But it's one where if what your side is, you're getting good value on it. Borix is a plus 105, so I got the slight dog. But, Jeremy Kennedy, one of his losses came to a juiced up Pineda.
And he lost to Alexander Volkanovski.
Right, and he didn't get finished in that fight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did get finished. Yeah, he did. Never mind.
Oh,
he got finished at the end of the second round.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, in Kennedy, he's had a few times where he has shown a little bit of a chin issue. So Borix definitely KO is within the realm of possibility. I also think Borix has the ability to win a decision. So I'm just going to edge Adam Borix for my pick here, and I'll bet him just because the odds, he's a slight dog. I like him that slight dog in this matchup. So
yeah, I believe Adam opened as the favorite, and it got flipped around. Now Jeremy's the underdog.
Okay.
Or no, sorry.
Yeah, now Adam's the underdog.
Yeah, Adam's the underdog now. So if you got Adam, if you got Jeremy early, you would have got an underdog value on him, and now Adam's actually the underdog, so you would have won money either way.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a really close fight. I think it's a good potential. Good potential for fight of the night. Next fight, I'm not sure what to think about this fight. So maybe that's why I'm not a huge fan. But 125 division, Liz Carmouche making her his second fight in Bellator, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, second fight in Bellator, she got a rear naked choke win over Deanna Bennett in her debut. She went from Valentina Shevchenko to Deanna Bennett. That to me is funny. It's like that is as much of a step down in competition as you can, I think, have.
What a margin in competition.
Yeah, so I mean, she looked fine in that. Vanessa Porto has been Invicta forever. I mean, you've just seen this name in Invicta forever. She's lost to girls like Sarah Diavolo, Barb Honchak, Jennifer Maya, Jessica Niedzwiecki, who I don't know who that is, but this girl is she's 10-1, so there's that. Her only loss coming to Jennifer Maya, and then she never fought again in 2017. So don't know what happened to her. She's only 26 too. Maybe she'll come back at some point. But yeah, Vanessa Porto, she got a technical decision over Pearl Gonzalez, which just, in my opinion, Pearl Gonzalez is a good measuring stick for if you can't finish her. I'm just not sure how much I'm going to be able to rate you, although Miranda Maverick didn't finish her, and we saw how Miranda Maverick looked. But yeah, Vanessa Porto, she's a solid, kind of grinder type, has mostly known for her grappling, has some stand-up, has 1 KO in her career. I just think Liz Carmouche is going to be bigger, stronger, more experienced, fought better levels of competition, and she's got to win over Jennifer Maya. She's got to win, over Caitlin Chikagian, Lauren Murphy. I just think Jessica Andrade, she's got wins over very legitimate competition. Porto kind of beats a certain level, and that's where it stops. So I got Liz Carmouche here. It should be a finish for her to really make a statement.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Liz Carmouche as well. Vanessa Porto, as you said, Invicta FC vet, 7-4 in the promotion, only losing to the best of the best. Well, some unknown names, some better names, kind of a mixed package.
Yeah.
Losing. Well, she won a technical decision over Pearl Gonzalez, but the bout was stopped because Gonzalez inadvertently poked Porto in the eye, which rendered her unable to continue in the 4th round.
Yep.
So they just went to the judges, and whatever they had it scored at that point was the winner. Liz Carmouche is a vet at this point, like 5-5 in the UFC, but it's a deceiving UFC record, losing to Ronda Rousey, Valentina Shevchenko, like only the best competitors the UFC had to offer. She got thrown into the deep waters as soon as she joined the UFC, getting matched up with Ronda Rousey. So Vanessa's making her Bellator debut. She hasn't fought since the pandemic era. I always like to take that into account because it's going to be an empty arena. You can hear your coaches a lot better. Liz has already went through that in her Bellator debut, defeating Deanna Bennett, who I think is a decent competitor. She's not a world class in any nature, but she's decent. She's good. Yeah. Bennett did miss weight, so that's pretty unprofessional on her end. This is going to be a more competitive fight versus Vanessa Porto, but I think Liz should get it done unanimous, or it might even be a split type of decision.
Yeah, and I think the odds are kind of saying that -170 for Liz, plus 150 for Vanessa Porto. So they're expecting a close fight. The 170 feels like a trap, but I'm going to definitely put that in a few parlays. So
yeah, Vanessa's lost by 5 decisions. Like, if it goes to the cards, she's most likely losing a decision here.
Yeah. So now we're to the main event of the evening, 5 rounds as we cleared up earlier. Sorry, my dog is going nuts, of course.
It's all good, man.
Ryan Bader versus Lyoto Machida. Let me just say that much. Lyoto Machida 2. We talked about this a little bit on our Bellator tournament preview show, which is on the channel right now if you want to check that out. But just kind of going over this a little bit. I do think Lyoto Machida has a good chance in this fight. But I don't like it being 5 rounds. I do think there's a chance that Lyoto's footwork and cardio starts to wither as we get into these later rounds. Ryan Bader's been training for 5 rounds for the last 3 years or so. So I have more faith in his gas tank at 37 than 43. And the power of Bader, he should be able to get a hold of him, get control of him in the later, third or fourth round TKO finish for Ryan Bader. That probably will be my official pick. I'll take Bader, third round TKO.
Oh, so you're changing your pick here, eh?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still taking Ryan Bader. I'm not extremely confident because the guy's been knocked out 4 times at this point. One of them is including his opponent here, Lyoto Machida. So you can't be extremely confident on a competitor who's been knocked out 4 times, and he's fighting somebody who has. Lyoto has 11 knockouts to his name, and he's got the 3rd most knockdowns landed in UFC light heavyweight history. That's still he still holds that record.
Yeah.
So like but his age, like he has the style of a young man's fighter. If you're gonna counter, it's that reaction time. Mm-hmm. And the older you get, the slower you get, unfortunately. It's just father time. Father time is undefeated. And that reaction time is gonna be it's just gonna be depreciated at this point. Mm-hmm. I got Ryan Bader. If he sticks to his bread and butter, he should take him down, rinse and repeat. Even in the stand-up, he might be the faster athlete. But Lyoto gets himself caught up into these split decision wins or losses. So I can't be extremely confident in Ryan Bader, but that is my official pick. I've already got a parlay with him. I might sprinkle Lyoto by knockout if they come out with that prop, but I'm like it's 80% Ryan Bader, 20% Lyoto, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they don't got USADA over in Bellator either, so we might be seeing those advantages coming back. They might both be on those advantages at this point. But yeah, I mean, the more and more I've thought about it, even in the last hour, Machida is a slower, less durable, less dangerous, less cardio version of himself. And at some point, he will have a choice but to retire. He's 43 going on 44 years old. And it's just like, you just even look at the picture on Tapology of the poster. He just looks old.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, I don't even want to post this poster because it just doesn't resemble what Lyoto and Ryan Bader really are. Like they're icons of this sport, and they just looked old and wrinkled.
Remember when Ryan Bader was the prospect with John Jones, and then they fought, and Ryan Bader was never
that was just it. That was done, and he was supposed to get a fight with DC. They had some beef at a press conference. I remember Ryan Bader running up like, "Yeah, that's a fake belt you have. I'm the real champion." And then that's when he went to Bellator.
Yeah, and I mean, he made a good decision. He got to beat a bunch of old tomato cans and march himself back up. And this might be another old can he gets to beat here. Brian Bader's a -300 favorite. It's plus 250 on Machida. I think that I'm going to lessen the juice if I bet on Bader and bet on him to get a finish, inside the distance. And I think I'll just go with KO to make it maximum. But, this is not one that I'm super confident on. Overall, this card, not as confident as last week's Bellator card for me. And the ones I am confident on are -600. So it's like I'm not a millionaire.
I think Bader's got more to lose here. If he loses again to Lyoto, especially if he gets knocked out, like that's
He's
over.
A heavyweight fighter forever. He's a heavyweight. Yeah. The rest of his career is a heavyweight.
And there's $1 million on the line. I guarantee Lyoto Machida has made more in his career than Ryan Bader. So I believe Ryan Bader is a lot more motivated coming in here. He's got more to lose than Lyoto. And I don't love the odds, but when you're facing a 43-year-old out of his prime, you're gonna get those odds.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's that simple. I think that this is a type of fight card you don't want to go much more than 3 fight parlays on because there
Yeah.
aren't those super reliable. I mean, Jalen Bates can get knocked out by Glass now. Like it's just like Cody Law is my most confident pick of the night, odds regardless, and he's fighting a 2-0 guy with 2 knockouts. So it's like again, like we don't know. Dung facing a guy in Izzy Williams. I mean, just all of these fights you can really, poke holes in. Yamaguchi would be another one I'm confident in, but I'm sure those odds
Jessica Borga might be the best underdog pick.
I think of the underdogs here, I'm just looking through really quickly. Jessica Borga, I think might be one.
Stand out.
She might be one of the only underdogs to come through, frankly, on this card. I think it's a
Izzy
lot of
Williams, maybe.
Yeah, Izzy Williams is another one at plus 140, and then Adam Borix, if you want to count it, at plus 105.
Yeah,
So,
he was the favorite, so now you're getting underdog odds. So money's coming on Jeremy Kennedy.
Yep.
Fade the public, right?
But either way, these are all really close fights. Not all really close, but the ones that aren't close are still priced so far out that it doesn't make it worth it. But regardless, we're getting started on the light heavyweight Grand Prix tournament here. I can't wait. Either way, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next for either one of these guys. And then, that brings us to the end of the Bellator 256 breakdown betting preview show. MMA wagers. Brandon, where can people find you for further information, further takes, ask you some questions?
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all the same, MMA wagers. You'll see me on there. I have bets for tonight, one champion. If you want to get on that action, I can't wait. Like it's only, 6:13, so just a few hours away. We got Bellator, we got UFC this week. So inquire about all my bets and professional breakdowns.
Yeah, it's great. Always has the weigh-in pictures and everything, and he'll be joining me when LFA returns, I believe, next week. But wherever LFA is back, we'll be back with those because we're like 19 of our 20 last 21.
Yeah, we're killing it. Even with Bellator last week, we did really well.
Yeah, and this week I hope to do well, but I'm not gonna have as much action on this week's Bellator card just because of how it's kind of lined up. But either way, for Brandon of MMA Wagers, Aaron the Dog, Coffee and KOs, thank you for the platform. As always, we appreciate it. Check out all the interviews here on Coffee and KOs. I will have an interview coming up soon with Taylor Starling of Bare Knuckle FC off of her Fight of the Year candidate. Getting to talk with her. She has some fight announcements coming up all around good person too. And also I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the UFC betting breakdown show with Aaron the Dog and Brian Pooh Bear Battle. He might have some interesting news to announce as well. So you don't want to tune in live for that. And also, I guess
Miranda Maverick on Monday. What?
Yeah, I guess I have to announce this. I will not be part of this interview, needless to say. But Miranda Maverick, Coffee and KO's favorite, Miranda
facing
Maverick.
Macy Barber.
Yes, indeed, another one of my favorites. But enough about that. For Aaron the Dog, for Brandon of MMA Wagers. Thank you all for tuning in. Check out the Grand Prix breakdown show as well. That's down on the channel. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Be a little patient with Julius's internet. And then back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our UFC breakdown show. Kevin Holland, Vittori, for Brandon, for Aaron. Have a great night and keep taking care of each other, everybody. Peace out.